real quick, this motorcycle is for sale over at RMC Classics in Vilvoorde. Go check it out for yourself. Link in the description below. Firstly, tools and preparation. Alright, now before we get started, let's go over the tools that we're actually going to be using in today's video. I've got myself some big L keys, I've got myself some small L keys, and I always like to keep a torque screw around just in case. And of course, I've got myself a wrench hand, which is easier other than using a ton of different wrenches. I've got myself the seat plate, the spring saddle itself, and of course the front bracket, which will be attaching to the bike as well. I've got an assortment of screws, and I've got myself a big and small screw, which I'll get into in just a second. Right here, we've got this spring saddle in front of us. Now we're going to go ahead and flip it around and mount the bracket in the front loosely. I want to be able to move it around so that I'm not stuck in place or that it has some wiggle to it. As you can see, the screws come with Loctite, so you don't have to put any on it, and you've got a washer in between that and the back plate. Alright, now next up I'm going to do a close-up of the installation of the spring saddle to the tank so that you guys can reference it when I'm later doing it on the bike. First I'm going to show you the installation of the spring saddle up close and personal before I do the installation on the bike. So first thing, we're going to go ahead and take a little fisher which will go into the sides of the brackets on both sides. Then I'm not going to take the stock screw, I'm going to take the new screw that was installed with that came with the spring saddle itself. Then we're going to take a quick fisher. I'm going to go ahead and put that bad boy in first together with a spacer, and that spacer will slide into the O fisher, but we don't want to push it through all the way. We want to go ahead and put a spacer on the inside to make it nice and snug. Now after this, in between it will come the tank itself. And then we're pretty much going to do everything in reverse. So between this will be the tank. Then we're going to go ahead and put another spacer on the right hand side, which will be followed by a quick fisher. And that will be followed by the bolt to tighten everything together. Alrighty, now without further ado, let's get started on the spring saddle. Alright, so for the spring saddle, you have on the springs a long side and a short side. The short side needs to be on the top of the plate, whilst the long side will be on the bike. Then you pretty much get the bolt and you install it. But remember guys, again, everything needs to be nice and loose. And that's pretty much it. Let's jump to the installation. Installation. Alright, now first things, we're going to remove the rear seat bolt. I'm going to go ahead, pop this off, and keep it handy because I want to put it back later. I'm going to remove the seat, and there should be a bolt in the middle which I've already removed. Now I'm going to pop the bolt back in. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and install the seat pan. Now I've already glued my Velcro up to the front, and I've got some Velcro to the back which will keep it in place. This will protect my battery from the rain. Now I'm going to grab the bolt that'll go through the bottom of the rear fender, through the seat cover, and through the spring saddle to keep it in place. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a washer on it and follow that up with a bolt. Now again, I'm just going to put it on loosely because I need things to move around so I can still lock them tight later. So now comes the part that I've shown you guys before. Now I'm going to go through it real quickly as I've done a detailed version a little earlier in the video, so go check that out if you want to check it. So first off, bolt, washer, together with a spacer, but before we put in the second spacer, we put it through the saddle, through the tank, then we put in the third spacer, the black one, on the inside, and then we pop it through, put in the fourth spacer, and pop in the washer, followed by the bolt. And that'll pretty much keep everything nice and loosey-goosey so I can start to install the back of the saddle. See? Everything still wiggles. Good. Next up, let's install the back. So right here we've got the bolt together with a little bit of a spacer in between. We're going to put the spacer through the spring. Now we're going to go ahead and lock everything tight. Now let's go over the pros and cons, starting with the pros. Needless to say, it's got a super cool look to it, and if you're going for the stripped down bobber look, this is definitely the saddle for you. Harley spared no expense on the vintage leather look, and the foam padding inside keeps it super nice and tight. The brass studs give it that old school golden agey look and works absolutely beautiful with the brass collection and denim looks that Harley's pumping out now. Top that off with a minimalistic Harley logo and it's definitely my type of saddle. The springs allow for a surprisingly comfortable ride, and only on like 1 to 3 hour rides do I really feel the need to stretch my legs. And now, the cons. With a price tag of $299, of course it makes it a little less fun to get the saddle, especially knowing that the spring mount is not included and will cost you another $200. I get the question all the time, is it comfortable? And I can honestly say that the springs allow for a smooth ride, and I don't slide out of my seat at all, not even on the highway. That being said, when you do hit a teeth clicker and you do bottom out, you will feel it. But I have to say that in my 1,000 miles of riding the saddle, this has happened twice due to my lack of attention to the road. Verdict. The saddle is definitely a one-of-a-kind look. Whether you're cruising from town to town or heading to your local pub, this saddle is definitely an eye-catcher. If the stripped-down vintage look is something you're going for, then this saddle will have to be the one that you're riding around town to show off the old-school badass that you are. Remember guys, this motorcycle is for sale over at RMC Classics in Vilvoorde. Link will be in the description below. Go give it a test drive and feel the saddle out for yourself. Alright beats, that was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check the comment section below to see what other people thought of the saddle. And of course, leave a like and a subscribe to see more content in the future. This was me, Freddy, and I'll be seeing you guys out on the road.